Welcome to the With Clarity and Purpose podcast with your host, Yanet Borrego. Each week, I bring you an inspiring person or message to empower you to live life on your terms so you can be who you want to be, do what you are meant to do, and have the life you deserve to have. We will provide you with practical and cutting-edge approaches to continue getting clarity and direction on your path, mastering your mindset, and gaining confidence to tap into your inner wisdom so you can live on purpose. One thing every successful individual, leader, and entrepreneur have in common is a consistent morning routine. Having a simple, easy to implement routine enables you to start your day with a sense of purpose, accomplishment, clarity, and direction. For this reason, I have prepared for you a free guide with an easy to follow 5 minutes morning routine and a tracking template where you can document your progress day by day. I've been receiving messages from some of you already telling me how this habit has transformed your days for the better. Download this 5 minutes morning routine right now by clicking the link on my show notes so you can start your day on purpose. Welcome to another episode of With Clarity and Purpose, and I am beyond excited to have you here today. Why? Because honestly, time is our most precious gift, and the fact that we get to spend together these couple of minutes, these 30 minutes, it means a lot to me. So thank you so much for being here today. Today's podcast episode is all about creating a purpose-driven life. It's about defining what that means and also defining how to create one. I love this story it's one of my guests coming up. Her interview is going to be released 2 podcast episodes from now. Her name is Sonny Lamba, and you're going to love her. We were doing the interview the other day, and she was telling me about how when she was working on her previous career, she hated mornings. She just couldn't wake up because honestly, she wasn't motivated and she wasn't energized by the work she was doing. And after she transitioned to full-time entrepreneurship, now she became a morning person because the meaning behind waking up early has changed for her. And that's so important because a purpose-driven career feels energizing, feels light, and feels in alignment. Now, when I say a purpose-driven career, I don't necessarily mean leaving corporate, which a lot of people may think because of my journey of leaving corporate. A purpose-driven career means whatever career or business makes you feel in alignment with your purpose. The how remains flexible. If it's in corporate, amazing. If it's as an entrepreneur, amazing too, right? We are not attached to the format, but we are attached to the experience that you get out of this career or business. And that's what we are going to talk about, my friend, today. I would love to share with you the story of one of the students of Discover Your Purpose program, my digital course, and her name is Wendy. She actually gave me permission to share this story. Wendy has 2 sons, and she was talking to her youngest son about the journey of being an adult, and her youngest son mentioned that he was super excited about growing up and being an adult. And he said, the only thing I'm not excited about, which is the worst part of being an adult, is working a job doing something you hate. So literally, her youngest son said this to her. And she told me, Yanet, that's why I want to be the example for him that this doesn't have to be the case. And I love that she's a leading example in her son's life because honestly, even when I was working my first corporate job, I used to see the people around me, and a lot of people were unhappy. And honestly, they weren't doing much about it. So I want you to do different. I want you to really stand up in your light, believe in your limited potential, because you have unlimited potential, my friend, and also do something about it. And you don't need to go from 0 to 100. It does take years. It is a journey. But the most important thing is for you to take responsibility for change and take that control so you can start manifesting the reality and the career or business you truly deserve. Honestly, we spend at least a third of our lives in our careers or businesses. So why not have something you truly love and something that fires you up and that you wake up energized every single day? I was reading an article from Forbes, and they were talking about this 2018 survey that Gallup did. And the data showed that 66% of employees worldwide are either not engaged or actively disengaged in their job. Honestly, this doesn't mean that they hate their job. What this means is that they don't feel the passion and the purpose for their roles, and they don't care enough to innovate, create, or put anything more into their jobs than the bare minimum. My friend, tolerating your job, tolerating your business and your career, that's the opposite of a purpose-driven career. A purpose-driven career is one where you're consistently growing and where you're pivoting and where you get excited about the different moves you get to do in your career or business, that you get excited about being creative and trying new things. And fear is gonna be there. Self-doubt is gonna be there because every time you push the boundaries of what you know and every time you try something new, it is totally normal to experience fear and self-doubt. I want you to start expecting that instead of running away from that. Because the more you run away from that, the more resistance you're going to create into doing something new. So honestly, one of the things I do, and as a first year of being a full-time entrepreneur, believe me, this is something I do almost every day. When fear comes up, when self-doubt comes up, I celebrate it because that means I'm one step closer to getting to that goal. I'm one step closer to stretching those boundaries so I can continue growing. So when fear and self-doubt comes up, celebrate it instead of running away. I promise you, just this mindset shift is gonna create a huge transformation in your life. So again, expect fear and self-doubt, and whenever they come, celebrate it. Because believe me, they are gonna be there every time you try something new. So going back to tolerating your job and being in the comfort zone, as I mentioned, that's in the opposite end of a purpose-driven career and business. And some of you may be thinking, Yanet, is that even possible? Is that even possible to feel energized and fulfilled and motivated by your career or business? And I'm here to tell you that it is. Because, in my 9 years of corporate career, I had some jobs that I definitely was not motivated by those jobs. And I had some jobs that I loved, like the company that I was working for before I transitioned to full-time entrepreneurship. I really loved what I was doing. I love the culture. I love the people. So it is possible within corporate and it is possible outside of corporate, right? That's something really important to remember. And again, I've been 1 year a full-time entrepreneur now, and I love everything I get to do. Now, this doesn't mean that every day I wake up loving my life, but believe me, my friend, 99% of the time I do. But of course, like everything else, there are days that I struggle because at the end of the day, I'm a human being, just like you. I'm no special. I'm just like you, my friend. We go through the same struggles. It is also important to mention that you can like your job and still decide that it's not your purpose-driven career or purpose-driven business. As I mentioned, I left my corporate job. I love that company. They were amazing. I always speak highly of them. And even though I enjoyed and I love my job, I just knew that that was not it. Because since 9 years ago, I had a clear direction of where I was heading. And in those 9 years that I spent in corporate, that direction became clearer and clearer. And my purpose, as I continued experimenting all this way, it became more congruent within myself. So you can like your job and still decide that that's not it. That's totally okay. The other part of a purpose-driven career is if you know that that's not it for whatever reason, and in a minute I'm going to explain the elements or pillars of creating a purpose-driven career or business. But if you know that that's not it, my friend, my humble opinion, do not stay on it. And also do not wait until crisis hits or until you hit rock bottom to make a decision. Do not wait for pain to be your motivator, because whenever that pain disappears, what are you going to be motivated by? It is so important that you have a clear direction towards where you're heading, that you have a North Star, and that North Star helps you make the short-term decisions. Do not wait until crisis hits to make a decision that you know is aligned within yourself. And as I've experienced several times, these aligned and bold decisions are not easy. But you gotta recognize that longer term, that's what's gonna be the best for you. Something that I always do with my clients is a technique called future pacing. It's basically thinking, okay, if I stay here tolerating my job and not really enjoying it, how would I feel 10 minutes from now? What would be the consequences maybe 10 months from now, maybe 10 years from now, right? Because sometimes we are used to making decisions based on short-term satisfaction and comfort rather than that longer-term fulfillment that at the end of the day we are aiming, right? So a purpose-driven career is all about doing something that you're fulfilled, that fires you up, and that you're happy with. The other part of this, which goes very related to what I said of not waiting until crisis hit, is that sometimes it's not the job what we have to change. Sometimes it's our internal world. Sometimes it's the perspective of that job that we are experiencing. That's why most of my coaching and most of my digital course, we work with understanding your internal world, how you're making decisions, and how you can also work with your mindset. Because let's be honest, sometimes we cannot change our environment right away, but something we can change right away is our perception of what's going on and what's happening. So sometimes it's not the job, it's not the career, it's us who we need to change. That's why the journey of my corporate career is so important and meaningful to illustrate this point. My first corporate job, I highly disliked it and I wanted to leave so bad. And I waited until crisis hit, until I had a panic attack for the first time in my life to make a shift that I knew it was long time due. Okay, so it is so important that as you continue walking in your path, you start experimenting and you start capturing data of what you enjoy and what you don't enjoy. After that job, I stayed in corporate, but I moved towards supply chain, which was a lot more people oriented than working as a process engineer. And honestly, I loved it so much more. So sometimes within the context of your situation, you can find some job or some role or some business or some career that you're aligned with it. It's a matter of looking around and just connecting those dots so you can realize that those opportunities are in front of you all the time for the most part. And after my supply chain job, I went to consulting, which I loved a lot more. Now, I knew that I probably was not gonna stay in corporate. I knew this since 9 years ago, but all these 9 years, I transitioned my perspective from hating my first job to loving the last corporate job I got and still making the decision to leave it because I had a bigger goal that I was aspiring to. So sometimes it's a change of perspective, but that change of perspective doesn't mean that we change our longer term direction. We are still walking towards that North Star and we are enjoying our day-to-day life and everything we are doing, right? So really mastering that internal world is so important for your happiness and fulfillment. Now, what is a purpose-driven career? I've given you tidbits of that, but I always think of 4 pillars when it comes to a purpose-driven career. The first one is alignment. Wherever you are right now, do you feel in alignment with that? And how you can know is just like this internal feeling that makes you feel congruent, confident, and connected to the role, job, or business that you're in. Most of the days that you're working on your career, and this includes owning a business, how do you feel? Do you feel in connection within yourself? Is your gut telling you that this is the right step for you, the one that you're in right now? I think that's so important for the alignment piece. So alignment is the first pillar. The second one is emotions. I love this quote from Tony Robbins that says, the quality of your life is equivalent to the quality of the emotions you face on your day-to-day. So I want you to be honest with yourself right now. In your current job, career, business, what are the emotions that you face 90% of the time? Are those joy? Are those being energized? Maybe those are being frustrated or angry or powerless. What are those emotions that you're facing? Because those are gonna be a big indicator of if you are in a purpose-driven career or not. The third pillar is growth. Are you growing? Because my friend, honestly, growing in your career, in your life, is such a key enabler to living fulfilled, to living happy, to living joyful. Are you growing? Are you tapping into your creative side? What are you doing to challenge yourself and embrace that fear and that self-doubt that is coming with every purpose-driven step that you take? Are you growing in your current job, in your current career? And again, tolerating a job is not growth, right? So I want you to be honest with yourself and ask yourself, am I growing where I am right now? And am I growing in the right direction that I want to go? I think that's a very important question too. The last pillar, and this is such a big foundation for everything else, is contribution. How are you contributing to the world, right? I had a clarity call the other day, and the person that I was talking to, I was telling her about my journey from corporate to having a business, and she was like, wow, you're not doing this for money only. And I'm like, no, honestly, I'm doing this to contribute to people, to help people, to show people that there is a way to live fulfilled, that there is a way where you can create your reality right now. Again, it may take you months, years, but every step of the way is a decision, and you can decide to walk towards the direction that makes you feel fulfilled and happy. If it was for the money, I would have stayed in my safe 6 figures corporate job that I was doing amazing. Contributing, and even the the fulfillment and the satisfaction that I feel with my clients when they're experiencing the transformations, that is priceless. So part of a purpose-driven career or business is being able to contribute to society, to contribute to your community, to contribute to other people, to be the way shower for other people that it is possible. That's what contribution is all about. So the 4 pillars, just as a quick summary, are alignment. Do you feel in alignment with your job? Do you feel light when you're working with it? Do you feel connected, intentional? Do you feel that inner peace? Emotions is the second pillar. What are the emotions that you face in your day-to-day? Are they the emotions of feeling energized, happy, joyful? Or you face, for the most part, emotions of frustration and feeling powerless? Because those are not the ones we want in a purpose-driven career. The third pillar is growth. What are you doing to grow in your career, in your job, in your business? How is that looking for you? And the last one is contribution. What are you contributing to the world? What is the legacy you want to leave in this beautiful world, so we can inspire more people to be empowered and to take responsibility for that change? Now, I'm gonna give you a couple of exercises to work on based on these 4 pillars that we discussed. Now, I want you to look at your current career, business, job, whatever that is, and I would like you to journal in terms of how do you feel about your current career related to these 4 pillars. What do you have and what's missing? And for those things that are missing, how can you change your perception right now to maybe wake up more energized, or to maybe find something else that you can do on the side and define a long-term direction so you can continue walking towards that direction and at the same time in your day-to-day experience happiness, fulfillment, and joy? What are those things? Is there anything you can do with your current career or business to make it more of those elements that are missing? There is always something we can do. Sometimes we need to look harder, but it's there, my friend. The answer is within you already. And if it's not possible for whatever reason, and you're the only one who knows, what is the one thing you can start doing right now to become closer to that vision of who you want to be 5 years from now, or maybe 10 years from now, in the area of career and business? So those are the questions for you. I would like for you to get your journal and start writing those, again, based on the 4 pillars that I provided. My friend, I want to remind you that you have all the resources you need within you to succeed already. I'm your biggest fan. I believe in you and I love you dearly because I know you're way more capable than what sometimes you give credit yourself for. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode about what is a purpose-driven career or business and how to create one. If you found this helpful, please share with your family, your friends. I would really appreciate it. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening at With Clarity and Purpose. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Sharing is caring. Please share with your friends and family so we can continue building an empowered community together. I'll see you next week.